everybody, what's happening? Welcome to the Lethal Truth, where the truth shall set you free by any means necessary. It could be physically, it could be mentally, depending on your situation. I could be talking about something that's legal. I could be talking about something that's legal that could actually free you from the penitentiary or whatever situation you're going through. I hope everyone is having a good day. Hit that like button. Hit that like button as soon as you step in the room. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that share button. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. It's been about 2 weeks. I ain't been on here. Yeah, I've been running around, been busy, but I'm here. I got a good topic for y'all today. Everybody versus Sean Puffy Combs, the king of New York, the new king of New York. I know you saying, hold on, what you talking about, the new king of New York? Everybody know Biggie's the king of New York, but nah, I gotta give it to Puff. I gotta give it to Puff. Yeah, I've been working out. I'm looking a little stocky here. Trying to get it back. I stop drinking, stop smoking, trying to take care of my health, So we're gonna wait for some more viewers to come on, before I start. You know what I mean? Get a little bit of this water. It's definitely I'm about to say cold, hot outside. It's real hot. If you out there, you listening, please drink some water. Water is serious right now. It is so serious right now because, I went out there to walk my dog. And, man, as soon as matter of fact, prior to even that, when I went on the balcony, I went to go get a chair. And my whole glass is fogged up. I was like, God damn, it's hot. It's 95 degrees right now. What time is it? What time? What time is it? It's a little after 8 o'clock. I'm not asking what time is it. It's a little bit after 8 o'clock, and right now it feels like 95 degrees outside. That means around 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, it was like 100 and something degrees. From what I heard, it was like 105. I don't know how true that is. I didn't see it, but I believe my resource, they said it was, a matter of fact, it was my assistant. She was like, yo, listen, it's 105 degrees. That was earlier. Now it's 95. Like, it makes it any better. It's humid. It's humid right now. There's no wind, nothing. Even on the balcony when I went out there, I didn't even feel any wind coming through. It was just heat. It was just hot. I was like, God damn. We're going to give it like a minute, and then I'm going to go in. We're going to start talking about everybody versus Sean Diddy Combs, Sean Puffy Combs, Mr. Love, Key to the City Man. We're going to talk about him. I'm not going to get too much into his case. We already been through that. We already know that he was found guilty. So, I'm going to explain why I genuinely feel that he's the king of New York. I'm going to really explain it to you. I'm going to explain it to you on a layman's level. I'm going to explain it to you even on the street level. Some of y'all out there on the streets like, nah, what? King of New York? I'm going to tell you why. Ain't he the most gangsters one in the hip-hop industry? I'm going to prove it to you. Hit that like button as soon as you come in. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Get on the phone. Tell a friend. Share this video on TikTok. If you can, share this video on IG. Share it on Facebook. Let them know that I'm on. Let them know that I'm on. It's been 2 weeks. I haven't been up here, but I'm here now. And I'm going to be up here tomorrow. We definitely got something to talk about, especially with that thing that's going viral right now with the police officer punching the young brother on William McNeil in the face during a traffic stop. A lot of people saying that he deserved it. You know what I'm saying? Here for the knowledge piece. They're saying that he deserved it. Others saying that he didn't deserve it. So we're going to talk about it, We're going to see how it goes tomorrow. They having fun in there, you know what I'm saying? I want to know what they watching, right? I can't wait to start watching some TV later on and relax, kick my feet up, eat some honey buns. Yeah, I'm really looking good in this camera. See what happens when you stop drinking, you know what I'm saying? Your face clear up. I was much darker, a little browner now, lighter, stopped smoking, lips got brighter, my weight is coming back. Hitting that pull-up bar, you know what I'm saying? I'm working out, getting my body right, 50 years old, and I'm still on this planet. 50 years old and I'm still on this planet. That means God ain't ready for me. I feel that I got more things to do on this planet, more things to life. Thank you here for the knowledge. You know, sometimes it's kind of hard when you quit. You know, I went cold turkey. I didn't go to no AA meetings. I didn't look up online to figure out how I could, you know, quit smoking, quit drinking. You know, I just did it on my own. You know what I mean? Self-discipline, you know, which is the hardest thing on the planet for a human being, you know, especially when you're accustomed and used to, you know, indulging in certain activities. And now you want to just go cold turkey, especially when you love doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? And then you just quit. It's hard. It's very hard. One day I'm gonna do a show on that, tell you what I've been through. You know, I went there, I even went to the hospital behind it, you know. But hey, I had to do it. I had to better myself, be good to myself. And they say, you know, the first love in life that you love when you love God is your body. You know what I'm saying? That's the first love, because that's the first gift he give you is life. So, you know, it's all up to you. Not criticizing those who doing what they doing. That's entirely up to you. We're just talking about it. Hit that like button as soon as you come and hit that like button. Lethal seduction. Man, yo, I gotta do a show. I gotta do another show. Hopefully I can get my partner up here. You know, we want to talk about the lifestyle a little bit more, things that's been going on in the lifestyle. You know, hopefully we could go back live like we do on Wednesdays, you know, and get it together, you know. And, a lot of things took a setback, you know, we took a setback. But check this out, let's go right into it, right? Everybody versus Sean Diddy. You know, when this case first happened, and you know, I say I'm not gonna get into the case, but I think I'm gonna have to touch upon it just a little bit, but I'm not gonna really dive into everything like I did pertaining to Cassie, Mia, and everybody else that was involved in his case. Because I already did contents on that, you know, did contents on the him beating the Rico, you know, him being found guilty of the Mann Act and everything, which is a really uh charges that were set up against black people, you know, pertaining to Jack Johnson. That's how the Mann Act started, because when Jack Johnson was boxing in the early 1900s, he's a black man, you know what I'm saying? And back then you wasn't going 12 rounds, you was going like 30 rounds, 40 rounds. And he was beating the hell out of black people. You know what I mean? Especially during that time in the South, in the North, you know, especially in the South where slavery was still going on in certain places. You know, you had definitely segregation high level out there, and he was coming out there and he was beating the hell out of white people. Yo, them white men was getting in the ring. He was taking advantage for everything they did to us, everything they did to him, his family, you know. And then after he did what he did, after whipping the hell out of them, he was having sex with nothing but white women. To the point people started to think that he ain't even like black women, but I don't know. Maybe he was trying to do get backs. You know, you know how we do it in the bedroom. You know, it wasn't really out there back then to say what you did in the bedroom. But I always believe oral sex was part of the thing when it came to sex. And I think Jack was just doing him dirty in the bedroom. You know what I mean? But he was loving it at the same time. But it was a lot of white people that was upset with that. So in order for him to be brought up on charges, or any black man to be brought up on charges, they came out with the Mann Act because he was traveling with white women from different states in America. So they wanted to, you know, stop that, because, you know, at one point in time, the news was just universal. Like, you saw the news, you heard what happened in Virginia. Well, it's still like that, but not like it was prior to Dr. King getting assassinated, because 100 cities went up in flames. So they said from that point on, we won't know everything that's going on in one state. They were separated. You know what I'm saying? So this is why you got news channels that, you know, carries news from different areas of the state. They don't put it on one news channel anymore like that. So, you know, Jack was just, he was doing them filthy. And they came out with the Mann Act. You know what I mean? Try to set him up, get him locked up behind that. But, you know how the celebrity status was. Jack had, you know, he was juggling white women. So he'll leave one white man in one state and come to another state and bag a few. and eventually he gave up the title. He lost his fight. A lot of people, it's controversy. A lot of people said that he actually lost the fight. I forgot who he fought because it's not important to me. But they said he forfeited the fight because every time he started beating up white men, at some point when he was really getting flamed on, they was hanging a black man or a black woman or a black child every time he won the fight. So eventually, what I'm saying, he lost the fight. They say he gave it away so it could save his people and his career and his image. Some say, white people, of course, say he got knocked out fair square. But he was the Muhammad Ali of his time. Ain't no white man was beating him up. Straight up, he was going in there and destroying him. You know what I'm saying? So this Mann Act came about for black people, and eventually, Bill Cosby, you know what I'm saying, was charged with it as well. R. Kelly is charged with it as well. And now you got Sean Diddy Combs. So let's get to Sean Diddy Combs. Everybody against Sean Diddy Combs, the new king of New York. Why come the king of New York? When Puffy came in the game, he already had a name for himself during college. You know what I'm saying? He was throwing the Howard University parties. So a lot of celebrities, as far as in the hip hop world, was coming to perform because that was like the Freaknik of the city. Although at that time, Freaknik was Freaknik, but in New York, out there in DC, it was like the Freaknik at that time. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanted to come to one of those college parties, and a lot of hip hop artists, they wanted to participate in that. So he knew about Heavy D. Around that time, hip hop wasn't big. Nobody wanted to give us a chance. So a lot of artists like Ron DMC, Heavy D, they wasn't getting advanced checks for 50,000, 100,000. They wasn't getting millions of dollars. They weren't doing a show. They was doing a show for like $1,500, $2,000. The most probably 5,000, depending on how big you were. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't no Ron DMC, so you wasn't getting no 10,000. You know what I mean? But you was getting something like maybe 2,500. Look at Method Man. Method Man said when he did he did a track with Biggie, Puff paid him only 2,500 because hip hop wasn't big like that back then. It started to get big. That's why Nas said, me and Big, we was performing at that Arc next to, Big Blue and all the ball and Star. You know what I'm saying? So at that time, once Big, got sold 1,000,000 albums by himself, you know what I'm saying, what they called at that time gangster rap, hip hop took off because everybody started rapping the same thing or something similar, So Clive Davis, along with his cronies, decided to utilize hip hop, like DJ Flag. You know what I'm saying? They culture vultures. Some would say culture vultures. I look at them as opportunities. You know what I'm saying? They saw a big business plan. We wasn't pooling our resources together to make hip hop go anywhere. Just like the black community, we don't pull our resources to build up stores. And other people outside see the opportunity, and they came in and they benefited. You know what I'm saying? So they gave Puff $100 million. They said, listen, we're going to be 50-50 here. And Puff opened up his bad boy office in his bedroom in his mom's brownstone in Mount Vernon. Check that out. He ain't go spending, he ain't go balling, he had a dream. You know what I'm saying? And this was a dude that was just in college. Was he street? I don't know. I can't say he was street. What makes a person street? Just because you out in the open, you letting people know you bust your gun and you give it up, that makes you street. Or you sell drugs, that makes you street. I know a lot of drug dealers in the penitentiary that's not street. They just saw the opportunity to get money. They had gorillas around them that was street though. But they wasn't street, just like Puffy, you know what I'm saying? Well, I can't say Puff because the things that he doing was street. A lot of people say Puffy is soft and whatever the case may be. But when Puff signed people to his label, Bad Boy, many of his artists complained that he was robbing them. You got Sean, Mace, You got the locks. I won't say Biggie because Biggie never complained that he was getting jerked. You know, his mother would say one thing. I think what it was, um, his mother realized that, you know, Big signed a bad deal. You know, he's still Big, owned his all his publishing rights. Because I remember back then, around, I think it was the Source magazine or the Vibe magazine, Big did an interview and he said he sold his publishing rights to his first album, The Puff, because what he did was once he got his money, he started to pull everybody around him from his neighborhood and bring them out the community and started giving them jobs. So he started paying something like MC Hammer did. He ran through 30 million. 30 million. Can't say he was getting jerked. You ain't hear Hammer yet right now saying he was getting jerked. But what happens is these artists, they get these people around them, all these yes men and the fake love and all that, and they feel like, yo, I'm gonna take care of him. And Big, you know, he wanted to take care of his people. Plus, he was trying to live an image of the Versace. Like, I ain't hear about no Versace until Biggie came out. I'm serious. I ain't hear about Coogee until Biggie came out. Although Bill Cosby was wearing it way before we even knew about it in his shows, the Coogee sweaters. We didn't know about that. That's not where we come from. That's a whole different culture. But Biggie bring it to life because somebody put him on. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Monica? What's going on? Biggie put him on. You know what I mean? And then everything started. See what Nas said? Me and Big was performing active art. Next thing, Big Blue and all the ball and start. He had Kim and I had Fox. Only the #1 niggas on the New York charts. Big was ahead of his time. See what I'm saying? So people that was around Puff was probably wearing it, and Puff money started changing. They said, you know, when your money start changing, you know, your environment has changed. 50 said it the best. When Ghost from aka Styles P from the Lock said, yo, money changed you, Fifth. You know what I'm saying? You out here chasing the money. I'm out here just getting the money and I'm still in the hood. And Fifth said it right. He said, yeah, I'm chasing the money. He said, yeah, money changed me. He said, you know why money ain't changing? Because you ain't made enough yet. And that's true. Because you make enough money, you're going to get out of the community that you in. You're going to get out of that apartment that you in. Or you're going to get out of your mom's crib. You're going to get your own crib. You're going to decorate it the way you want to decorate it. You're going to have the big screen TVs. You're going to have your car. You're going to have the car that you want. Not the car you think you should need, but the car you want. You're going to have the clothes you want. Of course, money going to change you. You ain't going to be eating Popeyes. You making $1 million every month. You're going to have chefs. Or you're going to be going to restaurants. Puff was going to hotels in Trump Plaza, 30,000 a night. Who does that? You can't tell me money don't change. You can't tell me that. So here go Puff. He's signing these artists and they're not reading their contracts. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They're not reading their contracts. You had all these movies out with all TLC, James Brown. You could even go further than that. You got the 5 Heartbeats, the Temptations. All these dudes is coming out with these movies talking about how they got jerked. You've seen it. You hear the rappers, Heavy D, all these dudes that come up all the way down to the NWA when they say Easy was robbing them. That came out years ago before the movie, before Biggie even got put on. So you already knew. But what happens is they put this contract in front of you that's this thick, right? And they put an advance check on the top, and you see 20,000, you see 50,000. And you looking at the check, you ain't even looking at the contract. Meanwhile, this dude is befriending you. You thinking this dude is your man. No, don't get it confused. That's your boss. See, I ran into a guy that told me that, how would I put this without putting their names out there? Because it's very important that I don't put their names out there. Let's just say that they was working together. But before that, they was like brothers. Well, they are brothers. They friends. They brothers. They do the same thing. You see him, you see the other. And they joined something together. And this dude was doing things wrong on the job. And his brother, his man, had to find him. And now the dude don't want to talk to him. He upset. So you getting it confused. You thinking that you're entitled. You know what I'm saying? Now you feel like you could do what you want to do, and in a lot of these cases, like Sean and like a lot of them, they think they was entitled for to be excuse me. They think they was entitled for the other to be honest to them. We're not living in an honest world. That's why every time somebody stick paperwork in front of you, you got to go get a lawyer, or you better start reading it. You better take your time, you know. But these dudes don't do that. They sign. So they get signed to these bad deals. Now you got people like the Locks. I love the Locks, Jadakiss, Styles P, Chic, Luch. You know, used to be my dog. You was in my left city. You know that song there is a classic to me. They did with X. You know what I'm saying? Um, well, Styles and Jadakiss, Sheik wasn't on it. Well, all their material is good. Now these dudes, they rap about shooting guns, busting guns, and damn near every song. Let's keep it real. They talking about moving cocaine, and they got dudes or rape your kids, and that's what I don't want to get too deep into. I don't want them to strike my channel for saying that, but this is the songs that they make that make you think like these dudes are street. And then they kind of find out that they wasn't getting the money they were supposed to get. And they felt that Puff owed them to the point they went on a Free the Locks tour. Wait a minute, I thought you was a gunslinger. Puff ain't never promote violence. I'm gonna say this again. Puff never promoted violence. He always moved in silence. Even when he was going through with the Tupac situation, he told Biggie, yo, don't respond. Although he got a song, Life After Death, at the end, you'll hear him talking about a certain rapper. He told him, I'm coming for you. And that was very controversial because, when they made that, Pac died within I think 6 months before the album dropped. And then Biggie died because he was promoting the album. So that was kind of controversial, right? But all these people that saying Puff was joking, they did nothing. I wonder why. I wonder why. Why was they so afraid to address Puff on a street level when Puff never said he was street? Puff said, I went to school. He said, I didn't want to be like my father. Check the things he was saying. He was talking like a real gangster because real gangsters talk like that. They don't try to advertise that they street. They don't try to advertise that they tough. They don't even want to talk about the things that they did that's ungodly in their past. They leave their past to their past, or they get with a female, and they don't talk about gangster stuff that they did because, real people, real gangsters don't talk about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They said, and I saw this in the movie, street things is talked about those who only do it with each other. You know what I'm saying? If me and you ain't did no crime with together, we don't need to be talking about it. If me and you ain't did no criminal activities where somebody lost their life, me and you we don't need to talk about it. Me and you did it. If we did it together, we already know. And even we know we did it together, we ain't gonna rehash and have a conversation because I don't know if you got a bug on you. So whatever happened, happens. That's how most street people that really run the streets, that's how they move. You know what I mean? So Puff, he never wanted to be like his father, as he said. As he said, he don't never want to be like his pops, and he wanted to take it to the music, and he wanted to do it. But you gotta understand, Puff broke around street dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like LL got an interview. He talked about being around Alpo. Matter of fact, Alpo got his Alpo ring from LL. No, excuse me. Hold on. Trying to think. Actually, yeah. Apple got that ring, that name ring from LL had it first. He was around a lot of street dudes, but he never pushed himself to be street. And Puff, I pretty much was the same way. They were moving silence. You're right, they were moving silence. You would never know. You know what I'm saying? Just like the whole Supreme situation happened, where all these people was getting shot up, or he was doing the shooting as allegedly what people were saying. There was a lot of street things going on. He never advertised it. His people never advertised it. Irv Gotti never advertised it. You know what I'm saying? It's not to be advertised. Who wants today? I don't understand what these kids be doing on TV. They just be advertising all their street stuff. They be in raps, throwing it up, all kind of stuff, letting the feds know on screen, yo, this is what I'm doing. Puff never moved like that. Even with the Pac situation, he never moved like that. He was like, yo, man, I ain't with all that. I just want to make music. He said, I just wanna love, man. I'm full of God, man. I hope me and Pac can sit down and discuss it. Meanwhile, Pac and bodyguards is MOB, Mar Parvu Bloods, that's moving with Suge Knight. Because Pac wasn't no real street dude. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't no punk, but he wasn't street. There's a difference. You know what I'm saying? Puff, his bodyguards were Southside Crips. They were rivals to MOB. So you see how that works? That was street stuff going on, but you never saw it in the magazines like that. I mean, Pac would get on the wax and tell you about it, but Puff wasn't. See the difference? Now I won't say Pac is a rat. I mean that is dry snitching, if that's what you want to call it. Dry snitching, wet snitching. I don't know what that is. They say snitching is snitching. You know what I'm saying? But Pac put it out there. I guess maybe that's the rapping thing because a lot of rappers that's what they do. They put their stuff on wax. But excuse me, but Diddy he never promoted that. So why didn't the locks stand up and take all them guns that they was talking about and bring it to Puff? Because Puff had some street dudes, some real street dudes that was around him. Put it like that. And as some time went on, he had police around him, which I believe and I would say is the smartest thing to do. Now, I used to be from the streets. I'm not from the streets anymore. So I can't promote violence and all that. But I would say that's a smart move because you don't want to have, you don't want to have a lot of dudes around you from the streets, and this happened to Nas, where you get caught up in a situation and they feel like they protect you or they bust their gun and they let it go off, and then they hit somebody. Guess what? The victims is not saying your peoples. They saying you because you the one got the money. They feel like they ain't got nothing to lose. This is why 50 had to get rid of Bangum Smurf. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, listen, man, we building an empire here. You ain't gotta be no shooter. We got shooters right there. They hired off-duty cops or they hired security who has license to conceal a weapon. So if they get pulled, if they drop something and the police come, all they gotta do is flash their badge and their credentials and they good. The police is gonna listen to security, especially if you license to hold a weapon because you damn near the police yourself. So they gonna listen to you before they listen to the street dude. And this is what Puff surrounded himself on. Smart. So he'll just be like, yo, y'all know what to do. You don't know what's said behind closed doors. Y'all know what to do. Just protect me at all costs. You know what that means. Protect me at all costs. So of course the Locks wasn't gonna do nothing. So they went on a they went on to a free the Locks campaign. You know what I'm saying? They used politics to get out of the Bad Boy deal. And they got out of it, but they had to pay back $2 million. Gangster. Yeah, you want to leave? You can leave, but you're going to pay me. And he pretty much was saying, you're going to pay me for all the money that I spent on you. Because y'all didn't go platinum. Y'all had the hype. Y'all didn't go platinum in your shiny shoes. You wanted to be street and gangster. This is what you want to do. So, you got what Rough Riders, and you got Tough, and then everybody liked you from the street because your words was relating to people from the streets. And like I said, I love their music. I'm a big fan of their music. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, I was from the streets. Even though I don't run the streets no more, I still listen to their music. I work out to it because I like that street stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know what that bubble gum. I don't can't listen to that bubblegum music that they got out now. No offense to the brothers Kodak Black and all of them. I can't really Uzi Vert. I can't really listen to that and dance to it. It's the different generation. So I don't got nothing. I don't knock them. They doing their thing. A lot of people like their music and they successful young black men. But Diddy on the other hand was just straight gangster with it. You know what I'm saying? He got involved with Sean, right? He got involved with Sean, and matter of fact, prior to even Sean, when he got with Mace, because the Mace was the next big thing, the next best and big thing on Bad Boy, to the point where I don't know what happened, but Mace wasn't liking the way Puffy was doing business with him. You know, Puffy was like, "Yo, write this." Like he told Jadakiss, "Write this, write this." This is why I call him the king of hip hop, man, the new king of hip hop. Because although you had people like Jermaine Dupri, they was rapping a little here and there, Puff took it and went somewhere else to the point producers started rapping. I mean, Dr. Dre started it. I think he started it first. He had Easy writing him some rhymes, but he was mostly, the producer. Puff, he just wanted to be an artist. And he stuck the pen and pattern for the Jada to write this. And Jada said, "Yo, I hated it. So why you ain't say no? Who gangster? Write this." And you was like, take that. We won't stop. I tell you, we won't stop. Yo, you can't make this up, man. You know what I'm saying? And he eventually Mace got out of his contract to the point, to the matter of fact, he didn't even get out of his contract at that time. What he did was, and it's real funny because he took a lot of this stuff now on camera on show, about street dudes, and he always had a problem, and he always brought the problem to street dudes and all of this and that. But when it came to Puff, he turned to pastor. Remember that? He was talking about thou shalt not kill. This was Murder Mace. That's how he came in the game. Murder Mace. Street dude. Then he started making songs smiling. Then he started writing songs for Puff, smiling, all white clothing. He would Puff on the Maybach. And then when he didn't like it no more, he didn't get Murder Mace on Puff. He said he was a newborn Christian. I wonder why he went that route. Why he didn't go the Murder Mace route. Something around Puffy must have shook him to the point that he did that. No disrespect to Mace, no disrespect to anybody that want to become mentally resurrected and want to get baptized and want to lead that way of life. But you got to practice what you preach, right? If you saying you coming in a game or you coming in the street and you saying you gangster, when it get comfortable and you portraying that, that's cool. But when it gets uncomfortable, you still got to walk that walk. I remember I got into a situation where a brother told me, "Yo, maybe you should, maybe you should fall back from doing what you're doing, and you got kids and all of that." You ain't tell me that when it was comfortable. When it was comfortable, "Yo, how it is over there? What's up with the people?" Then as soon as it'll get uncomfortable, you want to talk another talk. Nah, you got to practice what you preach. You know what I'm saying? Like Murder Mace, you got to practice what you preach, man. But he didn't. He actually decided to change what he practiced and preached and started preaching. Something scared him to the point that he knew he couldn't go against Puff. They said Puffy's very strong in the industry. I mean, yeah, when you got money, you got influence, you got connections, of course you're going to be powerful. Of course you're going to have some goons on you. You ain't going to advertise the goons, but you got goons on you. You got goons that are security officers that just didn't get caught. That now has a license to shoot and kill and be like, "Yo, listen, man, anybody act up, we slamming them on their head straight like that." And these dudes be like 7 foot tall. You know what I'm saying? They be like 7 foot tall. And as soon as you act up, they'll yo, I seen that. What it was? It was who was performing? It was somebody performing, and and one of the fans tried to run up on the stage, and the security slammed him from off the stage. He died. I forgot what artist is. It's a known artist too. Oh man, I forgot the name. But yo, you got securities not playing. And Mace became a pastor. Then you had Sean. Sean said, "Yo, I thought Puffy was my man." No, man, that's your boss. His job is to make you feel comfortable. This is what bosses do. This is what gangsters do in that even in the organization. Not saying Puff is a gangster, but he moved exactly like one that I know of in the streets. You know what I'm saying? He don't promote it. He wears suit and tie. You know what I mean? At certain events, he wear his street clothes, wear around certain other people. You know what I mean? You got to move according to your circle. And in certain circles, he got a suit and tie on. He had little curls in his hair. You act up. You was getting wowed out on. And one day, Sean and Puff and Jennifer Lopez, and he was a bodyguard. I forgot the name of the bodyguard, but they went to a club, right? Um, Very well-known club. Forgot the name of the club. I know I said, "Come on, how you forget?" Because it's so long. I'm not trying to go into too much details with the locations and the name and all of that stuff. And the dude, according to the dude, who said he was street, was running his mouth. He said allegedly that he wasn't feeling Puff, or Puff thought he was all that, because when Puff came into the club, he was buying all the bottles. He had those chicks around him. He had one of the hottest dude off of Bad Boy who sounded like Biggie at the time, Sean. And he had one of the baddest chicks in the game, and that was J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez. Come on, don't lie. You know what I'm saying? That Boricua, he had that Boricua like this. What's up? And he up in the club and he making it rain. This dude, he was jealous. He couldn't make it rain. He had a pocket full of money. And allegedly, he came up to Puff while Puff was sitting there. And, one thing led to another. And allegedly, they said he took his money out of his pocket. It was like, you ain't the only one that got money. But I think that was the last for his money for the night. And he threw it and hit Puff in the face. What happened? What happened? Things went left immediately. It wasn't that, tell you when we don't stop, Puff turned into something else. And shots rang out. Now, according to the woman who snitched, right? She said that Puffy shot in the face. She said Puffy shot in the face. Sean admitted that he fired into the club, but he fired 2 shots into the air, which they actually found his bullets in the ceiling, not into the fragments of the female face. The ceiling, she's over here. So the bullet ain't gonna go up in the ceiling and come back down. So she's saying Puff pulled out and let go. This is what she said. And it hit her. She said she seen the whole thing happen. She was right there. Then they got about the club. They jumped in the van, or excuse me, the Suburban or Yukon or Navigator they had. I know it was an SUV, all black, like Ghost from Power. They were speeding, running lights and everything. Woo! Straight street stuff right here I'm talking about. This is Sean Diddy Combs. And they said while the police was following them, car chase, they was throwing guns out the car. They didn't say one gun. They said throwing guns out the car. They got caught. They all 3 in the pen. So according to one of the security guards that he had, security officers, as I call them officers, they're like officers. He said, Diddy was like, yo, listen, Sean can't go to jail. He had that Barrington Levy, Bad Boy. He was on the top charts. You can't go to jail. He making my money, can't go to jail. This is J-Lo. You know she can't go to jail. She making movies, she in Hollywood, she can't go. This is what the security guard is saying. And he said, I can't go to jail. He said, I got you. He said, I got you. It was a disclosed, he said it was some disclosed amount of money that he received. He took the plea. He said, yo, I shot, right? Somehow later on, the story started to change. The security was like, nah, man. Yeah, because they started talking about attempted murder and all that. He like, nah, man. And he started telling, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to say allegedly. And Sean, he was like, yo, he thought he was good. Till the lady started saying, no, it wasn't security, it was Sean. Sean like, yo, hold up. What's going on? What you mean it was me? How it was me? I fired into the head. Sean talking about he's street, right? As a matter of fact, I misconstrued the story. I messed up on the story. Hold on. Dealing with Sean. The rest of it was correct. But Sean wasn't in the truck. This idiot, he walks back to the scene of the crime. He got arrested right then and there. He walks back to the scene of the crime like nobody don't know his face. You on Hot 97. You at the BET Awards, and you walk back to the scene of the crime with no hat on, and they pointed him out. That's how he got caught, right? Who would do? Hit that like button. Hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. So during trial, Sean is like, yo, how you saying it's me? You said it was the security. She changed her state. She said, it was you. Came to find out later on that Puff paid her to say that. Now, some people would say, yo, that's dry snitching. I don't know what to call it. All I can say is, yo, somebody had to take the fall. He wasn't going to jail. He wasn't writing no statements. I'm just saying allegedly. Say allegedly, because I wasn't there when it happened. I'm just listening to what him says. And I'm listening to what Sean is telling everybody in all the magazines. That's how I got this information. And a lot of people that was around that time who was into hip hop at a certain age got that information. That was reading the Source magazine, the Vibe magazine. Sean was all over it. Front page article telling his story. Even now, he's still telling his story. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yo, he ain't even had a lawyer. He said, did he cut him off immediately? Like, he didn't want no tie son. He didn't want to be around him. He was like, he had his own lawyer. So he had to sell his house. He had to put up his house in order to get bailed out. He had to take some of that money to get a lawyer. Sean said he was taking the train to court. He said he came outside. Once he got at the train station, he got in front of the court. All you saw was signs saying, "Free Diddy." It sounds familiar. Yo, that's what, Pac said it. Yo, don't go to war unless you got your money right. Puffy had his money right. Sean didn't. I don't know what you did with your money, man. But Puffy knew what he was doing with his money. He wasn't stupid. He probably had people in his ear telling him, yo, man, protect yourself by any means. Make sure you stack your bread up. In this business, it's always somebody trying to sue you. It's always somebody trying to arrest you. Always make sure you have lawyers on standby. A lot of rappers don't do that. They just get in the game and they want to portray an image, portray the image of having all this money, wearing all this fake jewelry. Like when I was growing up, we wore gold. I don't know what all this silver and all this garbage that these dudes is wearing now. It's garbage. That ain't even real. To the point you don't even know what's real. So you got some red ass thing that look like diamonds. It's not even diamonds. You get out the 99-cent store and you put them around your chest and you walk around like you dripping. No, that's not. No. You messing up the game, man. It's gold, not silver. Well, certain silver, not silver chains and all of that stuff. No, because that's not even 100% silver. But back to what I was saying. So eventually, Sean was found guilty. Meanwhile, his bullets is up in the ceiling. And Puffy's home free. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. As soon as you walk in. Come on now. Hit that shit. I only got about what? Two like with 3 thumbs up. Come on now. You just sitting there. Hit that thumbs. Hit that thumb. So Puffy walks out. Puffy said, everybody at that time was saying, yo, Puffy's dirty. You know what I'm saying? Puffy's foul. Puffy's just gangster with it. He ain't got to advertise it. That's why he got away with what he got away for so long. Because he ain't like a lot of you that get on YouTube and you make your videos talking about you running the streets and you doing videos like K-Flox and you got guys in there like Young Thug in your video. Puffy ain't never do that. Puffy was like this, dance, baby. Let's dance. He chilling with TD Jakes. He going to church. That's what gangsters do. They put that nice envelope in the little bassinet or little whatever they put it in. They always have something that come around where they put that money in, or he meet TD Jakes in the back room in the office and he slide him a little something. That's political power, man. You gotta have strong people around you. Puffy knew exactly what he was doing. So now, you know, years later, he became the man, he became powerful. Got into business with these Jewish people. His money changing, his circle is changing. What I'm saying? The knowledge around him is changing, the education is changing, and he's getting put on what to do in the industry. You ain't gotta live that biggie life no more. He's gonna show you how to get real gangster. Jay-Z's learning, and he gotta talk about promoting the casino in Coney Island. You think that's his casino? You'd be a fool. You think they're gonna let a black man build a casino in the hood? No, he's the face of it, just like the Barclays Center. There's the real gangsters behind him that's pushing him out there. Don't get it twisted. Jay got he got a lot of power. He got a lot of power. If not, he got more power than Diddy. He's just not getting caught up in a lot of stuff because he got a lot to lose. Diddy's just a little bit more daredevil. But you see the difference between Jay and Diddy is that Diddy is really street. He's just not promoting. Jay ain't street. Just because you heard about, he sold a couple of cracks here and there out of town, and he wore some jewelry. Other people talking about, yeah, Jay was hustling and he had money. That doesn't make you street. Anybody that can get drugs in their hand and move it can do it. You ain't got to be a gangster to do that. There's a lot of gangsters or so-called gangsters claiming to be gangsters that was selling drugs that was getting extorted. You heard about that story when it came to Preacher. He was extorting a whole lot of so-called gangsters, and he was the biggest rat in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? So Jay and Diddy is different, and Diddy beat that case. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that came out with a lawsuit with him, well, I won't say everybody. Some people fell victim to his lawsuit. Speaking of that, you ever heard of Steve Stout? Since I mentioned TDJ, Steve Stout was he was a CEO, I believe, of Risk, I believe, or Def Jam. I think it was just Def Jam. I think it was Def Jam, or he was a president of Def Jam, but he was definitely played a major role in Nas' career, producing them, especially that album It Was Written. He took him out the country, and he told Nas, I want you to focus and not be distracted. And that album was a classic. It's fire. You know what I'm saying? And Nas' career was on a standby. You know what I mean? Like Jay was pounding the hell out of him. You know what I'm saying? Lyrically, like he was killing the airwaves. He was shooting a lot of indirects and everything. And a lot of people would say Ether put Nas' career back on the shelf. I would say played a little part, but I would actually say Hate Me Now with him and Diddy put him back on the limelight. You can hate me now. Yeah, that's the song right there. And I Won't Stop Now. They was on the cross. Now, this is around the time that, Diddy was trained to be I won't say portray, because I can't say that. I would say that Diddy was actually saying that he was a Christian, a newborn Christian. He got baptized. He was running around with TD Jakes Heavy at this time. And the video was going to come out, and he had got a lot of flack behind that, behind the scenes. He got a lot of phone calls like, yo, listen, don't air that video because you slap in the face of it. Because you know how them powerful Christians are on TV. They're like, listen now, going a little bit too far, and you're putting yourself on the cross like you Jesus. You could do something a little different. So he didn't want to rub shoulders against the wrong people. So he tried to make the call like, yo, don't promote that video. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do another video. You could push the song, but don't do the video. Steve Stout, he wasn't trying to hear that. Like, what, man? I'm doing what I did. He put the video out. Why he do that? And Diddy came up in his offices with his team, and they beat Steve Stout down with champagne bottles. Talk, that is gangster. That was gangster. And you know what? Steve Stout ain't pressed no charges. Champagne bottles. As a matter of fact, Nas talk about in his song, uh, it's on the song, not Live Nigga Rap. What's the name of it? Last, last real nigga alive. Where he said, Jesus Christ, he just nice. And he was talking about, Puff came in the offices with champagne bottles on stage because he thought the drama was on me. Like this was real deal. Puff came up in that office with champagne bottles and beat Steve Stout down. Steve Stout settled out. That's public record. He set it out. Puff gave him some bread for it. Like, yeah, he learned his lesson. You ain't hear Steve Stout mouth no more after that. It's his career. His career kind of took a hit behind that afterwards. Yo, Puff was strong. Puff got around that too. No charges filed. I tell you, that dude's like the king of New York. Yeah, he's powerful here for now. He's very powerful. You know what I'm saying? To the point, even J Lo was like, "Yo," they asked her, said, "Why you in Puffy work?" She's like, "I can't talk about it. It's just that Puff is just different. The way you see Puff is not the way I see him." Yeah, most people would say it's just his money, but I mean, it go hand in hand. You can't have power without money, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Money could pay a lot of people off, but it can could open doors too to change your circle. So, yeah, his money do play a part. You know what I'm saying? Because if he was broke, they'd have found him guilty of those charges. That man had lawyers. That man had 10 lawyers. He wasn't playing. He went up against the federal government. First, he went up against street dudes. He went up against gangbangers in the West Coast. They had a whole East Coast and West Coast beef that he was involved in. He was up in the West Coast shaking his behind on the stage, like, I'm in your town. What? Yeah, they killed Biggie. And a lot of people try to say, oh, they set him up. Nah, it was just that, people that was around Big, it wasn't his security. The real security was around Puff. Biggie had his mans in them.